Hey everybody, we're live again with one of my favorites. We're here with Cat Flippen with the coolest last name of all Canvas users.
Thank you.
Send me your last name and we'll decide. Cat is one of our Canvas admins based out in Georgia. She is filled right now, as you can imagine, with teaching teachers how to make sure they're set up for really effective distance learning. So today, Cat is going to talk to us a little bit about modules, how to set them up, how to make sure that you're using them so that you can be most effective. And with that, Kat, I'm handing it over. Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I work in Jackson County Schools, and I'll get this over here so you can see that screen. And we are a half rural, half suburban school district, half Title I, if that makes sense to any of y'all. And we are about 8,300, almost 400 kids. And we are on distance learning right now. We started on Monday. Thankfully, we had a little bit of technology paranoia about 2 weeks ago, and we were able to make a plan pretty quickly. But we've been Canvas now for about 3.5 years, and we are a system of no mandates. So it's been a journey trying to get people into using Canvas. It's nice to have such a robust LMS, and I've managed almost all the other LMSs in my career, and I have to say, y'all, Canvas is pretty awesome. And I'm not much for drinking Kool-Aid, but this is pretty awesome. And I'm excited to be talking about modules. What you see right now on my screen, for example, is if you created a new course or if a course was rostered to you and you log in for your first time, this is what you see. This tends to be very confusing for most teachers because they don't really know where to start and what to do. There's just nothing there other than uploading a template, which still can be very confusing, or getting a blueprint of some sort. I mean, it's a blank canvas, hence the name Canvas. So helping people understand what you see here and how to start here is very empowering because, as most of you know, modules are something that is easy to organize, easy to play with, and you can manage basically everything in this one location. So when you first have your blank course, and for those of you who are super advanced, I got something for you coming up too, so don't worry. But starting here, so I just made myself a new Canvas course, and I have a fake student in there, so no student data shared. But I'm going to say, as a new teacher, where do I start? Well, it's pretty easy. If I have a map, or if I have some idea of some lessons I want to do, or something I want to share, even just a website I want to go to, I want to put this on here. I'm just going to organize it. So adding things is pretty clear in Canvas. So when I go and actually add a module, and you can add existing content, but I'm going to start from scratch here. I can just click this nice button. This is your temporary home screen. Before you even publish your course, you have modules right there in front of you. Canvas does that, I feel, on purpose because it's a great way to start building your course, right? So clicking and adding a module, everybody's always you see all my stuff I've used before. What do you want to name it? It doesn't matter. The beautiful thing is nothing is permanent here. You can go and change it to whatever. So, for distance learning, I'm going to go ahead and figure out, I'm going to call this Distance Learning Week 1. We'll come back to this lock until later. Let's go ahead and add that module. All right, and then from there, we can add another one. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and think, well, we also have next week off, right? So let's add Distance Learning Week 2. Ooh, and this spiffy thing called Prerequisite. Not now, folks. Those of you who know what that is and are fans of Badger, you know what that is. So here I am with Distance Learning Week 1 and Distance Learning Week 2. Nothing's published yet. Technically, I'm still on my home page, and we'll go from here. All right, so I want to add stuff. Again, the beautiful thing about Canvas, and I keep on preaching to everybody, it's super easy, great user interface to figure out, well, how do I add things and how do I get rid of stuff? So over here on the right, you see this circle with a slash. So that means it's not published. That means that if the course was published, nobody but other co-teachers could see your quote unquote instructional mess. As you build things, it's a little messy. You don't have to show people that. It's published or unpublished at your own will. The plus sign is where we're about to go to. We can add things from there. And this thing is called the hot dog, by the way. 3 dots is the hot dog. Clicking on that, you're able to move things, and you can also share things, duplicate. The duplicate feature is wonderful, and delete. So if you just hate everything you've done, you can delete it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click the plus sign because this is where people start. After I initially start with modules, people get a little confused. So let's click this. And you see a number of things. All right, so adding items to a module, essentially it's chunking a course, right? So I'm going to go back really quick. So if I have a week 1 and week 2, those are separate little chunks. And I can do unit 1, unit 2, chapter 1, chapter 2. I was a former Spanish teacher. I taught high school Spanish for 9 years. So I would have like tema uno A and tema uno B, and clicking, it's just however I naturally structured my course. And modules are great for student structure. They just want to be able to find stuff, right? So clicking add here, I see all this. It's a little confusing. All right, so ignore this right here. Start up here where it says add blank to distance learning week 1. Click that drop down, and this gives you all the options that are available in Canvas, what you can add for assignments, for quizzes, and also external tools and URLs. One benefit of Canvas when it comes to external tools is you keep everything in one tab. So when we get down to there, I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we have an assignment. Let's go ahead and add an assignment. And you see that this pops up. If I switched it to quiz, it would give you options here. If I switched it to file, it would give you all the files in your course. Now, granted, your kids can't necessarily see that, but it will publish it for you in a module. So you see how it will change up down here, the selections that are available per item. So I'm going to start first with an assignment. What's really cool and what is still kind of confusing for people is you have to understand that this is where you can actually create a new assignment in situ. I often encourage new teachers and even veteran teachers, why do you go to the assignments tab over here on the left, or quizzes or pages or anything here? When it's easier, just go in here and think about the structure of your course and create new stuff here. You can just create right here without having to go to assignments or pages or any other separate section in your course. But I already have some stuff created. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one of those. So let's do, actually, you know what? I'm going to create a new one because these are going to be for later. So a new assignment, let's call this, let's see, welcome to the, let's do pandemic, why not? Humor is nice. Indention we're going to talk about when it comes to design. So for those of you who are more advanced users, you'll understand when I say design is 85% of the problem. I always say that hashtag design matters. So I have some really cool tips and tricks when it comes to that in a little bit. So I'm going to add that item, and look how magical this is. It's just there. The item is there. I don't have to do anything else. Well, I have to go and put the details of the assignment in, but it creates the assignments over here for me, but it already populates. So I can go into here, and then I can fill out all the details. It already gives me the title. And I can fill out, let's see, how many points, et cetera, so forth. It's not published, but I'll come back to that in a little bit. All right, I'm going to go back to home because right now it's still my home page is my modules. Or I can go to modules if I'd like. So there's just oh, look at that. I don't know why I did that, but guess what? This is very fortuitous. So looking at distance learning week 1 versus 2, 1 should be on top. Well, this little double stack right here, I have a lot of hot dog and hamburger terms. I'm going to move this. It's drag and drop. How wonderful to have a drag and drop interface. The same exists within the modules itself. So I've added an assignment. So let's go add some more stuff because this is when it gets really addictive and fun, right? All right, so if I have an assignment, what's another thing I can add that's good structure to a unit plan or a week plan? Well, clearly adding a quiz would be wonderful, right? And these are the old quizzes, by the way. If you know what classic quizzes versus new quizzes is, just keep that in mind. I'm not going to go edit this right now, but you get the idea. That's for another session for another day. But if I want to go ahead and make a quiz, look, I don't have any previously made. So all I have to do is click new quiz. All right, so I'm going to call this, let's see, what do you know about COVID-19? I could have a nice little lesson or two about the virus going around. Don't worry about, really, this is all for people who are more advanced, grouping things in assignments. That doesn't matter. We can look at Indention later and click the item. It creates it for you and keeps you right there in modules. I love this for new people and for people who are developing courses. It just keeps everything centralized, right? All right, I'm going to try to have the chat open in this window too, guys, so I can see what you're saying. So some people are saying, I love the drag and drop content. Oh, I agree with you, definitely. I organize my modules by week. Oh, that's a great idea. Because I think definitely for advanced content, we have some AP classes, for example, things that, are much more week by week basis. So being a K-12 environment, I often think of units and chapters. And I love that too. So the tech has no age. So what we've done in our district, we actually have a one-page worksheet we put together. It's a handout. We actually give that physically to teachers, and they're able to fill out like a unit plan. So when they go and they build their modules for the first time, it's so easy to start putting things together, and you start seeing that light bulb moment, right? All right, let's see. Level 2 is what I consider Teacher 2.0, Students Advanced, and I like to build a module template. Yes, that's what I was talking about, that module template. It's nice to have everything in paper, right? All right, so let's keep on adding stuff. I'm telling y'all, when you start figuring all this out, it gets to be so much fun, right? All right, so files. So you know, we're a Google for Education district, but you know those people, and you know who you are, who love your PDFs, and you love your PowerPoints, right? This is for you. So if I had a file that I wanted to share in my course, I could go ahead and put this here. So all the files are right here. I could add a new file, which would prompt me to upload stuff if I wanted to. But just because I've already added this, and I'm a huge fan of Aaron Copeland, I want to, oh, look at this. I also added a netiquette and essential agreement. I want to do both, all right? So I'm going to do my netiquette and essential agreement. Don't worry about titles. Look how easy this is, guys. Add the item. I'm going to go ahead and go to another one. Let's add my Aaron Copeland's Hoedown. By the way, I didn't just teach Spanish. I also taught music tech and music history, so I'm a big music person. So you see how these were automatically published? I've already set it up as files over here just for the purposes of this webinar, but they're already available. So if they're already available, they'll publish, but guess what? Do your kids see this still? No, because the entire module is still unpublished, so they still won't see the mess. That matters, y'all. All right, so distance learning week 1, we've got some files, we've got some music, because why not? Let's see what else we can do. All right, so we can add pages. Pages are entirely underrated, and somebody else can talk about that at some point, but it's static content, stuff that you can put together. Pages is also really hard to kind of keep track of. I love building pages in modules because I really don't have to think about all the variety. If I have like 200 pages of stuff, it's so much easier to see it here, right? All right, so pages, I can create a new one, and I can also add one. I already made one about distance learning, so let's just click that and add the item. Y'all, it's still adding it for me. I don't have to go into all these different things. If you didn't do it this way, you would come over here to assignments to have to create your assignments, quizzes to create your quizzes, pages to do that, files to upload stuff. Like, forget that. If I'm a busy teacher, Lord, there's no way I can do that. Modules for the win, y'all. All right, so add the plus sign. Let's see what else we got. Ooh, discussion boards. Don't have to go to discussions to make your discussion boards. I love this. I'm gonna create a new one. Call this, water cooler. Tell me about the week. Add that. I don't have to fill in the details now. I can go back and click on all this later to fill in points for the assignment, make the quiz, come back and actually fill in the details. All this is about structuring your content first before you really build it out. I'm going to add a text header. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Love my text headers. External URL. So you know how sometimes kids have 50,000 tabs open? Here's your answer to that. Most web pages will actually embed inside Canvas. So I'm going to add our district website, jacksonschoolsga.org. Call this our JCSS website. Right? You do have the option to load into a new tab, but in this case, I'm just going to kind of let it be. So when we go through this as a student, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to add that item. And then kind of the coup d'etat, right? This is, you think that it's awesome now. It's about to get even awesomer. The last piece there. And this is for people, and your new users, your new teachers, they're probably not going to understand external tools. So if y'all are professional learning developers, instructional technology people like myself, digital learning people, I would save this for another section. And somebody's asked, looking to potentially integrate custom software into Canvas, who do I talk to? Oh my gosh, Lord, I have a Twitter chat tomorrow about integrating tools into Canvas at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so you can join me then. So I'm going to integrate external tool. Guys, this is stuff that's integrated into Canvas, already added, that you've added to your course, or your admin has added to the top level. So again, I'm not going to instruct that right now, but somebody else can handle that. So look, y'all, I have, for example, there's Google Drive, my course kit. I can do maps. I have Khan Academy, Quizlet, all kinds of stuff, TED Ed. I think I'm going to do EdPuzzle. Now here's what's new about what's different rather about external tools. It will pop up a little pop-up. You already connected. I'm going to put that. Let's see if it actually won't play. All right, I'm not going to watch it right now, but I am going to assign it. And hats off to EdPuzzle. And just like that, guys, it pops me back into Canvas. So an external tool will pop you out of Canvas for a second and then pop you back in. So when are y'all going to be able to export group lists from Canvas? I'm not sure. Y'all are asking some hard questions. All right, so go down here. I don't feel anything else. I can change the page name if I want to, and I think I will. I'm going to call this Distant Learning Introduction. They don't even know it's EdPuzzle, and click Add. All right, so there's a whole 1 week of things that I can build out, okay? And what I want to show you is from the student perspective, what this looks like. Now, just as a side note, I think one of the biggest mistakes that everybody forgets to do is publish your course. So don't forget to publish your course, because I'm here, for example, right? And refresh here so you can see this is a student count. Do you see how that went away? It's unpublished right now. So I'm going to go and publish my course. I'm going to keep my modules as my front page. I've actually told teachers, especially if you are new, that they want that pretty front page. They want something that's decorated and gorgeous. Y'all, you don't need that right away. Focus on building your content first and what you need to get out, okay? All right, I'm not going to publish this for a second. And let's go and let's take a look at my fake student account. All right, so there it is, a new Canvas course. Isn't that nice, by the way, to be able to publish and unpublish and boom, it's there and boom, it's not? Okay, so you see how no modules has been defined for this course? Isn't that wonderful? So I don't see anything because it's not published. This is both a good and bad thing, y'all. It's good for those of us who understand it and really have the hang of it. It's bad for people who are still new to this. And since we're literally dropping everything nationwide and trying to distance learn, I've already answered a bunch of questions. Some of our biggest questions are, why can't students see my course? Or why can't students see my assignments or my modules? This is why you forget to publish. So I'm going to click publish that whole module. And look, isn't that nice? It automatically publishes the whole thing for me. Come back here and refresh. And like magic, y'all, it took all of 2 seconds. Oh my goodness. So I don't have to push it out. I don't have to wait for like a propagation across a domain. None of that stuff. It's here. So here is the fun part. Distance Learning Week 1 is ready. I'm a student. I'm going to go in order. Why not? That's how we designed it, right? So welcome to the pandemic. There's no content right now. I had to build out the assignment. If there was an assignment there, then it would say, you know, turn this in and submit. Look at this next button. I can just follow it along, right? So what do you know about COVID-19? Take the quiz. That would pop open in the separate little area, but we're going to skip that. Let's do next. So I see, oh, look at this. Here's keeping everything in one tab. If it wasn't for Twitter or StreamYard, notice I haven't opened up a link. I haven't downloaded a link. Everything is in one tab, okay? And here's the PDF. I can download it if I want to, but here's a great how to communicate online. Next, right? Oh, Aaron Copeland. Let's see. Oh, it started playing. So good to note that it will automatically start playing, but that's a built-in music, guys. How wonderful is that? So if you're a podcaster or if you're somebody who wants to just talk to your kids, if you do a screencast, you can upload your Screencastify into here, right? All right, and then here's my page I made about distance learning. Isn't that beautifully formatted? So all your pages are just like that. You can have a whole page of content. Moving on to next. All right, here is the discussion board. I'm still amazed. This just follows each other beautifully, right? And here is the embedded website. How nice is it that you don't have to like just have a link and it pops open a new tab, pops open a new tab. It won't do that. It's naturally embedded into Canvas. There are some websites that won't do that, but they have the option to open that into a new tab. And then finally, let's see. Oh, there's the EdPuzzle integration. This is the beautiful part about Canvas and building modules too. This was added as a module. She used to delete it to add an assignment. Okay, so I have to go and actually add the assignment inside EdPuzzle first, but you get the idea. You naturally embed things into this, so it's not something over here. You keep the kids in one spot. What I could do, I could just have home and modules and hide all the rest of this. The kids actually don't need to have this open. So if I was a kid, I could go to assignments and be like, oh, look at all my assignments. You don't have to do that. Keep modules open. We like to keep it as simple as possible for kids, right? All right, so going back over here, let's talk about some design tips, because if you are somebody who has a bunch of modules, you can keep on doing this, or you can keep on publishing and unpublishing stuff. that gets to be a little daunting, right? So what I recommend are two things. One, you've got to leverage the embedding and the text headers. You've got to. I mean, Canvas didn't put them there for no reason. So let's go back to add, and let's look at that text header. All right. So maybe I want to call this, let's do Monday's assignments. I'm not going to indent right now and add that. It adds it always at the bottom. If you have gigantic modules, this can be a little bit of a pain. So just be aware you'll be scrolling up and down a little bit. But I'm going to use that drag and drop feature. I'm going to push this all the way up here. And then I'm going to add one and call this Tuesday's assignments. All right, I'm going to add that up here. And I'm going to figure out, all right, so Monday and Tuesday. Monday, I want them to do welcome to the pandemic. What do you know about COVID-19 and the netiquette? Okay. Tuesday's assignments, I'm going to put that about distance learning, the water cooler, and then Aaron Copeland. And then I'm going to add one for the remainder of the week. All right, so it gives you a nice text header so people can see in order. Let's take a look at that in the student screen because it's really important for y'all to see this. So it breaks it up. I myself am not always satisfied with that. Like I need to have some sort of delineation. And it's nice that Canvas does this. Do you see these little icons right here? Super duper helpful, right? So what I want to do now is come over to Welcome to the Pandemic. I'm going to click this, the hot dog. And do you see it automatically has increase indent? So it scooches it over just a little bit to the right. So now let's go here and refresh and let's see how much better that looks. Oh, isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? So again, but let's say if I did like Monday's assignments, Tuesday's assignments, Wednesday's assignments, it can get a little big, right? Look at this, it's pretty daunting. So I love to use something called CopyPaste Character. All right, so here's my little tip, CopyPaste Character. And it's actually a website, copypastecharacter.com, and it gives you essentially emojis. And I like to put those in front of some of my text headers and also some of my assignments, the colored ones in particular. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to pick something interesting. Let's see, you should be able to go and search. I'm going to go up here. There we go, search. Let's do a star. All right, no searches. Let's do all characters then. Perfect. And I want to scroll down. I'm going to find something that kind of sticks out. Ooh, let's do a lightning. Oh, no, here we go. Time sensitive, right? Let's do a little clock. I'm going to go over to my Canvas course, hot dog, edit. And in front of Monday's assignments, I'm going to paste that clock and update. So you can actually color code some of these things as well. And you can put this in front of these titles too. So while you have these icons, but if something's super important or something is like time sensitive, it's nice to be able to do this. So I would take this, for example, there's also one that's an alarm I like to use, and I would put it in front of the one that's most pertinent. You can change this day by day. So I'm going to go ahead and increase those indents like that. All right, and then now you see how beautiful that can be. All right, so refresh. And now this is what it looks if you're a student. So you see that it's just nice to have some brightness, some color. And it can be something arbitrary too. So I'm gonna find, see, CopyPaste Character has a ton of this. I put this in front of my Google Docs too. It's actually how I organize Drive in my Google Drive. I like, let's just do, because it's bright and noticeable. All right, in front of Tuesday's assignments, just something a little different. Now, one more thing I'd use with CopyPaste Character, let's say that you do deeply build things out. So if I do, for example, another text header, and I want to call this quiz for Monday. Okay. And this is, I'm going to give you an example of one thing that is a little troublesome, is how you always have to scroll down. I'm going to go back up to quiz for Monday. All right. And put that there. Let's put the netiquette one there. But then I want to indent that and then indent that one more. It might be a little hard to see. So I'll show you what I mean. The indenting piece is great for building stuff out, but you can't partition up a module, so it can get very, very large. You see how large this is? So using something for quiz right here or indicating something's bumped out might be very helpful. So I'll use copy-paste module for that and find an arrow. This is the one I use more often. I'll copy that one, and this helps delineate things that are extra indented so kids can really see it a little better. Okay, so let's take a peek and see. There we go. So it's just easier to find those extra text headers that are built in. Y'all, this is essentially a, what would you call it, like an outline, right? It's just an outline of assignments. And then the final piece before I go to your comments and questions, guys, is you have done all this amazing work. It's your first time doing this. And then you look down here like, oh crap, distance learning week 2. I've got to build this out too. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Well, go to the hot dog at the top. Oh, you can't do that because you have a quiz. Okay, so yes, you cannot duplicate modules if you have a quiz. So if I didn't have my quiz, so let's actually remove that and see if that will go through then. Ah, there we go. So now I can duplicate it. So Canvas, if you're listening, which I think you are, if you could fix that feature, that'd be great. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the entire module. And that way, it actually duplicates all the assignments too. So look at this. So you see how it says copy, 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 but it doesn't publish it, so you have some time to clean it up. But it copies everything for you and your formatting. So having a standard module format, and then you can just use that over and over again, is very helpful. So let's go and let's take a peek at some of your questions. All right. Let's see, Kat, I'm with you. Use this to organize my Google full. Oh my gosh, yes, CopyPaste Characters is, and the kids love it, y'all. Even older kids, even adult learners. So, you know, I teach a lot of teachers. That visual cue makes all the difference sometimes, right? Is there a way to have your homepage be a page? Yes, there is. So, and that's why we don't usually start that way. It can get a little confusing to kind of start that way. So I try not to let the homepage, you know, be a page initially, but it can be. Let's see, I'm trying to scroll and not go back and forth so much between screens. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing my screen temporarily so you see my face. All right, so nice. Dig the emoji. Y'all, the emoji thing, you think it's kind of arbitrary, but it's not. Kids really, really do love being able to have visual cues. And if you make something standard, you know, maybe one for Monday, or if it's really like the hourglass for me, or the alarm, the one I use more often, then that becomes kind of your standard notification. The kids know, hey, I really, really need to do this, right? Sometimes visual cues are exactly what the kids need. Let's see. God, y'all, these are so many great comments. I love organize and clean. Y'all, design matters. Sometimes, especially, even though it's very daunting for people coming here at first, once you start building those modules, it's wonderful. You can definitely have a lot of stuff in modules. I would say that once you reach a certain like scroll limit, like if you end up scrolling 2 modules worth of stuff in one module, I would start breaking it up. So that's why whoever this person talked about doing it by week, great. If you end up having a lot of content in one module, you might want to consider other ways of organizing those modules. Because if you're overwhelmed, guess who else is overwhelmed? Your students, right? So you don't want them to get lost either. See, I do love to use text headers with indenting different content. It really is. I really wish there was a way to color code in modules, but my way around that was using CopyPaste Characters. So being able to have that is very, very helpful to kind of work around that. And let's see. Oh yes, EdPuzzle. So I'm a big fan of integrations. I'll be talking about just the benefits thereof and some of the different types tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Mountain time, I believe. Green checkmark show. Yes. So let's talk about that too. So if we have a little bit of time here, so I think we do, I'll reshare my screen with y'all. And for those of y'all who want a little 2-minute kind of quick curiosity check, coming back here to the distance learning week here, publishing all that, you can actually set up prerequisites and actually time stuff. So with distance learning, for example, you know, you want your kids to work at their own pace, but I'm that kind of student. I was that student. I would jump all the heck around here. Like I would not go in order. So I'd start with like the website, be like, ooh, this sounds interesting. Go here. I don't want that necessarily, right? So clicking on the hot dog right at the title of the module, I can click edit. And this is where I can do some funky things. So I can do a lock until. That gives the ability where the students can see the stuff, but they can't touch it. So you know that question when kids come into class, or they might send you now via text, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? This helps to negate that totally, all right? You can also add requirements. So I could say, all right, students must complete all the requirements. They say must move through the requirements in sequential order. Yes, for those kids who jump around, I got you covered. So I'll do that. And then what I want to say is students must complete one of these requirements. So now you can actually make it in order to move on to something else or to get credit for completing the whole module, okay? you have to mark this. I'm going to click this. Actually, I'll do all the stuff. But if you want to do one thing at a time, you can say, welcome to the pandemic. Mark is done. Let's do submit the assignment. I'm going to add a requirement here. Let's do Aaron Copeland, view the item. I'm going to say water cooler, contribute to the page. Let's do distance learning introduction. So view the item. They can't figure out with external tools that you have to submit. But that way, the kids, guys, cannot complete the module without having done all those things. So I'm going to go here, complete all the requirements. I'm going to make everything view. Okay. And I'll show y'all what that looks like here as a student, and then I'll let y'all go. All right, so let's do continue. Let's go back to the student view really quick and refresh. All right, and you're going to see, oh, do you see what popped up? Complete all items. And look, this is y'all power. This is where it gives you as the instructor power over what your kids are doing without being big brother. We don't have time. At one point as a high school teacher, I had 120 students. I can't even imagine right now distance learning with 120 students. So this helps if you take the time to set this up. So as a student, I can't do anything. I can't click on anything until I do this. And it's only view, but you can say submit the assignment. You can also say they have to score 100 on the assignment before they can go on. All right, going back to home here. Let's see, you see the check mark? It's in progress. So I can keep through and it'll keep on making me go through each item until I have all check marks. And then what you can do for your other modules is set it up as prerequisites. So coming back here, I could say, all right, so they've done distance learning week 1. And that's way too many things on my module. In order for them to do distance learning week 2, I have to add the prerequisite of finishing. They have to finish that entire module before they can go to week 2. That gives you the power. If you just take an hour or 2, build out all your stuff like this, right? And then share it with your kids. One, they can't work ahead. They work at the pace you want. It gives you the time to keep on planning. You don't have to obsess about all these kids, doing all this work. It just really empowers you as an educator, and it's worth it. And this is a great way to start with Canvas. Going from a blank canvas to something else is not so daunting. But modules are very empowering in my personal opinion. So let's see what else people are saying. How did you set up for different grade levels? Great question. So I do K-12, right? We actually, we use modules still in elementary, but we actually emphasize for K-5 in particular, a front page. So you can set up as a home page, a front page, and then we add buttons just so it's more interactive for the kids, but we still organize with modules. The buttons will go to specific modules. You can link in Canvas to certain modules. Makes it so much easier. I believe this workshop will be available for you viewing later. Am I right?
Yeah, Noelle, we have a website on Instructure.com that you can access all this information. We'll send a link out.
Awesome. I love what Teresa said. For classes where I have multiple sections, we make all of our modules in a master course and then copy it to each section to make sure the small changes needed. And if you do stuff like CopyPaste Character, or you put emojis in there, or you have the Indent and Instructure, that follows. If you copy modules from course to course, that structure will follow course to course. So you can be that person that sets it up for people and says, hey, now they have the direct share feature, or direct copy, super easy to share just a specific module with people. How do you copy a module to other sections? Other sections as in, like what I showed you with the duplicate module. But if you're going from course to course, I would go onto the Canvas community and I would look up direct share and direct copy, that new feature where you can just really easily share stuff to your courses or other people. And that would be your answer for that. You guys, thank y'all so much. This is so much questions. I don't know if I can keep up. Yeah, you can also set the syllabus with course summary as your home page too. And is there a way to have your homepage be? Yes, we already addressed those. So yeah, I think that's most of the big questions. If I haven't addressed any of them, guys, you can keep on. I'll go back and look through. But Mark, is there anything else that we need to discuss?
I think this is the big stuff. Again, big thanks to Kat. She's going to be hosting our Canvas Twitter chat tomorrow, #Canvas chat.
Right, from right here. This is my office area.
For the next little bit. 6 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We'll also have a couple of these live streams tomorrow. One at noon Eastern and another one at 3 Eastern. So if there's specific topics you want us to cover, shoot us a note and we'll make it happen. Thanks, everybody. Kat, thanks again.
You're so welcome.